Hey everybody, Drew's Apiary here. Today, let's see, it is March, I believe the 10th. I'm sorry, why did I say March? Get my days wrong, months wrong. May the 10th. This is that second yard that I've been able to keep at bees. Fortunate enough to do so. I've got 6 hives out here right now. I was out here a week ago doing a quick check. I know it's been a long time since I've uploaded a video. It's probably been 2 weeks, but I've just honestly been so busy these past 2 weeks getting different yards set up and kind of doing my thing, where just doing some other side project stuff that I just haven't had a chance to really upload any new content. So today, like I said, I'm coming out here, I'm doing checks. In the 2 weeks since you guys last saw this yard, I had supered up these 4 hives. Those 2 on the far end over there, I'm probably going to be adding some hive bodies on top of them to expand out. Those 2 on the right aren't going to be honey production purposes. Those are just to grow those 2 out. But these 4, you know, we're in the flow here, or at least in some form of a flow. I mean, it is May, and my goal is to see, I have 2 other, not supers, but I have 2 other hive bodies that I have stored over to the side. I didn't bring any supers today, but since it's been, again, week and a half, 2 weeks since you guys last saw me out here, I mean, to me, they're definitely ready probably for another box. We'll see. If so, I'll bring out more equipment here either later in the week or early next week, because again, you know, normally in Georgia, I feel like by the first week of June things have slowed down, and I don't really feel like I'm expanding anymore with the height of the hives as far as adding boxes. So, you know, really they've got another, you know, 2 to 3 weeks of being able to do work of either collecting nectar that's available or drawing out wax. So any boxes that I have wax available that I can get them to draw out, I'm gonna give it to them, let them do it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna move from left to right. Like I said, you haven't seen this last time, but I believe the left 2 boxes are marked queens. These middle 2 are not marked, so if I see them today, I'm gonna mark them. These do not have excluders on them, so it might take a little bit for me to find my queens. And yeah, and then that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'll add boxes as needed. This is just a normal check to see where we're at and see if I need to keep adding boxes. So we'll do that, and then I'll show you guys another cool thing after we leave this yard. All right, first hive inspection. Everything looks to be pretty well in order. See if I can find my queen again. She was on here. Again, she's a yellow marked queen because that's what we're marking this year with. Let's see if I see her. Yeah, these colonies you see out here, these are not from my original yard. These are all from, as mentioned in a previous video, another location up in northeast Georgia. So we'll see how these do. So I was hoping I could show her. She was on here. She probably went down and hid. She could be laying. But honestly, not as much comb was drawn out as I would have liked. I mean, there's a good amount, but I thought that they were gonna have this thing packed to the gills when I got out here. And I'd say both in the bottom deep, there's my queen right there. I'll try to point her out. Let's see, she is right in there. Ran off. I lost her. She doesn't have a whole lot of yellow on her back, but it should be enough that I spot it. Maybe you, the viewer, were able to spot it. I just missed it real quick there. But she is here. All right, no worries. Anyways, to my original point though, there was not as much drawn out as I would have liked. I would say both in the deep and the medium, probably there's at least 2 to 4 frames. We'll go with that. Two in the bottom, and maybe 3 or so up top, 3 or 4 up top that haven't been finished out. So I mean, just in my back of my mind, I figured that they probably would have finished drawing out all the wax, and that's okay if they didn't, but I probably won't be throwing a box on top of them, needless to say, because I've still got some work to do. So let me get this one closed out and we will go to hive number 2. All right, number 2 was looking good as well. Saw the queen. Even less drawn out comb in this one. Like I said, that one probably in total between the deep and the medium was probably missing 3 to 4. This one was probably had at least 5 or 6 undrawn frames out of the full 20. So again, I'm not gonna be adding a box onto it. I could tell there was a lot of especially wasted space in the top deep, but I kind of expected them to be drawn out more. It might be just because enough of the brood hasn't hatched yet. I mean, the queens are laying good. I see plenty of cat brood in there. Maybe they haven't hit that population boom, but they really don't have a whole lot of time to take advantage of this weather and this natural nectar we've got coming in. So TBD on that. I'll check again in a week, but maybe I'll bring some boxes just in case if I want to catch the end of the flow. But yeah, I mean, not as far along as I thought they would be. So 2 more. Like I said, I'll put it on time lapse. I'll show you all if I notice anything interesting, but that's where we're at. All right, so on 3rd hive right now. Just marked this queen. All the bees are all over her right now, so let's see if she's gonna make her way down there. 3rd, better than the 2nd one. So far, the 2nd one has been the weakest, so I'm gonna have to just make sure I remember that. I need to start bringing a log book out here when I'm doing these inspections, because now that I've got so many, or so many for me compared to previous years, it's gonna be a lot more bookkeeping than what I've been used to. So, but again, so far, 2 of the 3 I'd say are good. I mean, all 3 are fine. It's just that 2nd one just does not have as much as I would like. I don't know if it's a population issue or what, but this one's probably only missing maybe, I don't know, 3 drawn frames. As far as swarm control out here, I've seen a few cups, not wet, like there's no eggs or larvae in any of them, but that's been a good sign. So that I haven't really seen a huge tendency, and I shouldn't, honestly, but you know, at my initial yard, it's just been a constant battle, and we'll go into that. This is kind of going to be a 2-part video. I'm going to have a second part at the other yard, the original yard, where that's just been a constant battle of fighting swarming. I had another hive that I had split that looked like it swarmed, so that's kind of unfortunate. I'll go into that when we get there. But yeah, as far as out here, 1 more to go, and then just knock out those 2 real quick. Those shouldn't take very long at all, and then yeah. All right, that's gonna be pretty much it for today at this yard. Things to note, like I said, I saw all my queens, marked them, or I should say marked 4. There were 2 out here were already marked, the left 2. The right 4 had not been marked, so did that today. 2 things on those far right 2. That double-decker one right there, you see the double deep box, that had a swarm cell, fully developed. I don't know if you can see that in the mirror. Cut it out and I'll explain why, even though it's probably not going to do anything. But that was a nuke that I got last Thursday. So let's see, like I said, today's the 10th, right? That was May the 5th, right? So about 5 days ago, 6 days ago, depending on how you look at it. And when I did my inspection, when I got it, no swarm cells, no cups as far as I could tell. It's always possible I missed it. When I was getting them and I was doing my install. I can't say it's not possible, because again, for a cup to be developed, an egg to be laid, and for it to be drawn out to this degree in 5 or 6 days, that's pretty impressive. It's more likely I missed it, right? So surprisingly, you know, normally when a queen cell gets to this point where it's completely capped, you see that? completely capped, not open on the top, right? Completely capped. Usually that queen is gone. Usually she's already swarmed and gone elsewhere. And again, it's crazy that they did that, because when I got them in their nuc, I wouldn't say that they were like dying to get out, but they must have been. Because again, if I installed them last Thursday, clearly that didn't do anything to the swarm impulse, because they had plenty of room. And in fact, I just threw that extra box on there just as a test. It's not gonna realistically do anything, folks. If they've already done this, they're going to swarm. But I just wanna test something. I just wanna see something. I'm gonna come back out here in a couple days. I'm coming out here on Friday, and I'm gonna take a peek in there again and see what they're trying to do. Because again, they have so much room now. And I got it, once their mind's made up, they're gonna go. It's amazing that she was still in there. I don't have enough equipment here right now, which is on me, to have moved the queen, which is the correct thing. I should have left this cell in there, taken her, moved her elsewhere. I don't have the stuff right now to do that. So again, this is just gonna be a little test. So I actually have the next yard I'm going to, I have a situation where one of the 3 hives might not have a queen. I don't know that for sure, but I didn't see her the last time, and if so, I'm gonna give them this. If they haven't already started, which they should have already started developing their own emergency cells, but I'm gonna give them this one anyways. Other than that, the far right one, the little, the single body, all wood one, or non-painted one, I should say, and it's got the polyurethane on it, so it's still got a waterproof finish. It's just not white painted. But anyways, of all 6 of these, least drawn out. Now, given again, those were recent installs, you know, compared to these 4. These 4 were installed almost a little over a month, or almost a month ago, not quite. So I was kind of surprised they weren't more. But this double-decker one that had the swarm, like they had plenty of, they done a pretty decent job of drawing out their bottom box. Not to the point where they would want to swarm, but that far right one had like so few. I'd say it only had its initial 5. The 5 that I installed on Thursday, they barely dented anything else. The queen was in there, she was just laying really slow. So again, I might come back here briefly on Friday and take a peek in there and just see if anything changed. I'm gonna bring some extra equipment this next time in case I need to move that queen. If I need to put her in a nuc or something like that and take her elsewhere, I'll do that. But just thought that was interesting to share. You know, this has been this has probably been this is a very difficult swarm season this year for me. I'm sure for many beekeepers it has been too. It just feels like everything I've done to prevent it, it's been a crazy battle. And it's hard enough to check on your hives, you know, every 7 days. Like at this point, it's like if you want to be truly careful and make sure they're not going to do anything, it's like every 5 days now. And that's just a lot to ask for some beekeepers when they got other stuff going on for the months of April and May. And you know, here we are, middle of May, or almost middle of May. So anyways, I'm gonna end this recording. Like I said, that's it for this yard. Just kind of want to update you all on that. We'll go show you the new yard, which I'm excited to show you. All right, we're walking to the newest location, which I'm excited to show you all about. Again, another very generous, letting me use this property to keep some bees on, but look how gorgeous this is. And underneath this glorious tree right here. Wish I knew my trees very well. I don't know this one off the top of my head, but I'll have to look that up. Beautiful tree though. So these 3 hives were installed a week ago. And we're gonna check on them because that middle one, I couldn't find my queen the last time I was here. So we're gonna go take a peek inside and see how they're all going so far. Gave them a little bit of sugar water to get started, and be curious. They were installed the same day as those 2, you know, unpainted but polyurethane wood hives last week. So should be roughly the same amount of progress, but we're about to find out. All right, so probably saw through the time lapse. This hive is a new nook that I just bought, or I shouldn't say I bought, I got it for free this year. they're doing well. Mark the queen in there. The only thing that's not good about her, and they may replace her even though she's new, is she appears to be missing one leg. Comment below if you've ever had queens missing legs still last, because again, she seemed like she was able to move around, but it might be a situation where they'll see that, they'll decide to supersede her, not swarm, but just replace her with a newer, uninjured queen. I mean, again, she seemed she was laying and everything, but I just thought that was odd that one of her legs was missing. Don't know if that was during install or something, because it was right when I got her up here, I noticed it, and I was like, well, that's very bizarre. But this hive that we're in right now, this is my old queen from the other yard. I moved her. So this queen, let's see, I'm trying to remember which hive she came from off the top of my head. I believe this is the old yellow queen, though. I'll show you her in a second. She's on this frame. But great brood pattern, even though, you know, she's older. At least anywhere on the sides, you know, they've already capped all that in. There's eggs. It's hard to see in this whole middle area. They're so tiny, but like if you look in all those non-capped areas, you can tiny little egg at the bottom of them. So, you know, she's laying. She's doing a good job. I just was checking to see how she was doing, the hive was doing. Not much expansion going here, but again, guys, this was just, you know, this was last like Wednesday, Thursday when these got installed, so not even a full week. So if anything, they're probably trying to get reacclimated to everything. Yep. Nice brood pattern. Fortunately, no swarming on this one, but you see, I brought out a swarm cell thinking I was going to need it in this one, because I couldn't find this queen last week when I installed them for the life of me. Had no idea where she went. So when I came out here today and I saw these eggs, I was like, well, she just did a really good job hiding. And it's not like she was unmarked anymore. Yep, plenty of eggs on this one. Not all capped, but so she just did a really good job hiding. I don't know where she was, but she was nowhere to be found. Let me see if I can show her to y'all. Like I said, she's got last year's white dot. Oh, come on, show yourself. Sure, she'll turn up here in a second. But yeah, so it's good that I have her at this point. I don't know what I'm going to do with that swarm cell that I took, because again, on that other yard, that hive is their plan is to swarm, so I have to come up with a plan in place before my next visit out there. It's going to take them a little bit to hopefully get ready and go. I'm going to try to catch them here in a few days. There she is. She could have bit me. Right there, everybody. She's marching around. Put her back in there, seal them up. I said they're just fine. And then the one below the camera, which will go into last, that is my swarm catch from earlier video that you saw up on that deck. So I had that one established in a nook, just like this old queen, the old yellow queen that's right here. And now, moved her over here to a brand new yard, give them some space to expand. So, we'll move on to that one now. All right, that's pretty much it for today. That was very quick and painless. I know I didn't really show you everything I was doing in each, minus the middle one, which, like I said, the middle one was the old yellow queen. Through the time lapse on, that's our swarm queen over there on the far left. She was fine. Had her paint on there, didn't, you know, want to stop the video and just yank it over there to show you, but she seems to be laying good. They're all about equal as far as how well they've filled out the hive. I'd say each maybe has 3 frames that still need to have a lot of work done to it. So, you know, I could throw a super on them, and what I'll probably do is, I don't have one today with me, but I'll bring one out next week. I'll come out here a week from today and I will super them up, and they should be good by that point. That'll give them enough time to to finish what needs to be finished out. So overall good. Like I said, I had that extra swarm cell. I don't know what I'm going to do with that I cut out. If I can get it, you know, over to the other yard to, if I can get some other equipment, I can try to make a walk away with it or something like that. I don't know. I was not expecting to see that today. So I just need to be better prepared when I come out to some of these other yards that aren't my main yard when I do inspections, because I should know better. And by having those sorts of equipment at the ready, I can just grab those kind of things, grab bees and go. I have no way of transporting bees right now with me to take them elsewhere. So that is something I would have done otherwise. But again, all the yards we were at today. Hey everyone, sorry that video cut out so quickly at the other location. Battery was pretty much down to the wire and it just decided to shut off. So pretty much all I was finishing up saying is, you know, I'll be better prepared next time I go out to some of those other yards. Aren't they beautiful though? Like I said, those other locations are great. Hopefully they work out as far as producing some honey and, you know, raising good bees for this year. So here I am, it's the next day, it's the 11th. We're at the original yard. And again, I know it's been a while since I've done a video, but just to kind of update you all on where we stand, we've got orange hive. I'm probably blocking it. In fact, let me keep getting out of the way. You got that in view right there? Orange hive. If you remember, orange hive was the original green queen that was moved. The crazy thing is when I was out here a week ago, I think it was a week ago, it looked like they had swarmed again, unfortunately, which is crazy because they had, I thought they had everything that they would have needed. You know, the queen was moved to another location, showed no signs of swarming, gave them a super when I, you know, quickly upon them expanding out into the 10 frame, because remember they started in a 5 frame box. And when I came out here a week ago, they, if I remember correctly, I think they'd already had a swarm cell capped in there, again, in a week's time. And at the time I could not find the queen, which is normal if you have a capped queen cell. Usually that's showing that there probably isn't a queen in there. There's a good chance she's already gone. So I'm going in there today in orange to kind of see what we have, see if there's any developed cells since the last time I was out here that show that, yeah, they're trying to do their best to make a new one. Not sure where they're going to stand on that. The old red queen, she was doing fine, no issues. I gave them another deep high body, which if you notice, it's the only one out here with a second deep high body. And it's because I like to have in every yard at least one donor box that is fully available for me to steal frames from, especially for the deep chambers. As in, if there's a situation where I'm trying to equalize throughout the year, it's a lot easier when I have a deep box of resources that I can pull from without stealing too much from the other ones. So I did that in this circumstance. I mean, it's just nice to have the extra equipment to give them something to do. Draw out. I have wax that needs to be drawn out. And I may even give them another deep today. We'll see how all these look. Maybe another one will get a deep high body. But you know, it's one of those things. It's always good to have extra equipment, but it's always good to have stuff that you can steal from and equalize without putting another colony in too weak of a state. So really, other than that, green and blue, if I remember correctly, the last time they had their queens. Yellow was in the process of making a queen. Red had a marked queen. So this is gonna be a full-on hive inspection across the board, so I can get updated notes on all of these and know where we stand with everything. So without further ado, I'm gonna put it on a time lapse and we're gonna start to get to work. All right, so interesting thing, folks. I actually did find my queen. I thought this was the hive that swarmed. I'm gonna double check and make sure it wasn't this one. I don't think it was. I think I probably, when I was out here a week ago, I probably thought, did it because I couldn't find my queen, saw the indications that they were swarming. And remember, this is a second-year-old queen. And I'll get to that point, why I'm bringing that up here in a second. Found her, she's in there with the white mark from last year. So like I said, she's a little over a year old now, or close to it. But one thing that's interesting is while I did see cups on the bottom of some of these frames, I saw one that was wet that I removed. It was a cup, like I said, at the bottom. But the more interesting thing, and I'll share this with the group, I think I know what I'm gonna do, is I found a cell, pretty well developed. I'll try to blow some air on it so y'all can see it. With raw jelly and larva in the middle. Now, could this still be a swarm cell? It could. It could also be a supersedure cell based upon location. Again, this is over a year-old queen now. It's, you know, her laying pattern, while it's decent, it's not, you know, where it was, say, you know, this time, or not this time last year, but, you know, by midsummer when the queens are like booming, you know, laying eggs. She's obviously not there anymore. She's getting old. So I'm actually gonna let these bees do their thing. You know, there's different logics on that. Again, it could be a swarm cell. My gut is telling me it's not, just because of the age of the queen. And again, it's weird that, you know, in her mind, she's already swarmed once. It's possible for her, I guess, to try to swarm again, but I'm actually gonna leave this in there with them. So I'm gonna put that right there. I'm gonna let them naturally do their thing, because this could make a really strong queen, hopefully. You know, so that way all my, you know, another hive that would be requeened. So I'm gonna let them do their thing, honestly. I'm gonna write a note that it was the 3rd frame over. But, you know, I'm torn on that decision. It's just, it's one of those things I'd rather do that if that's what they're thinking. So I'm gonna put the queen back in here. I'm probably gonna give them a little bit more space. It's kind of hard to tell, but they have a super over here that's pretty well drawn out. I'm gonna kind of check it a little bit better, but it's definitely got some heft to it. So they need something to do, whether that's a second brood chamber, which is what I'm leaning towards giving them since I have them, or another super. So again, they'll most likely get another brood body. So let us do that, and then I will double check old red queen, see what their situation is. Second old queen to check on. So the old red queen, I didn't finish the inspection, but I kind of gave up on it. They have a whole bunch of swarm cells in there. And again, so they were fine as of a week ago. I'd given them space. Again, no signs of swarming at the time. But they were looking like the way they were, you know, they were looking a week ago. So, you know, I mentioned right over here, we're gonna let them supersede, get rid of the old queen. Right here, I don't know if my old red queen is still in there. I'm gonna just guess no, because again, there were maybe three fully capped cells, swarm cells, not supersedures, swarm cells. And then there was maybe like a few undrawn, there were a bunch of cups. So it's very interesting to me that with all the room I'd given them, that even still, that they were like, nah, we're still gonna swarm. So I'm telling you, this has been easily my hardest spring when it comes to swarm control. Just feels like even making, because again, these are both splits, you know, those are both splits. And again, they started being split into a 5 frame, upgrading into a 10, adding on to there, and even still. So pretty crazy, that's for sure. It's a little disheartening, but that is life. So they are going to most likely raise a new one. I don't know when the new queen's going to be available in there, but we'll just have to keep check on that. So I'm going to add that in my notes. Green and blue from my notes, I'm pretty sure should have queens, so I'm going to double check on them. Like I said, we're just working down the line. So just want to give you an update on that, where we stand with these. All right, I know you guys probably saw me jumping all over the place, and I'll update you on what I was exactly working on, kind of between the green and the red hive. I'll mention that at the end of the comments, but I just want to share this with you. This is the yellow hive. Here's a virgin queen. Let me see if I can point her out to you, because these you don't see that often. Very, very small. There she is, right there. You see her? Very, very tiny. There she goes. Just kind of want to show that real quick. I'm putting her in the box. You know, the thing is she's not mated at this point. Like I said, she's a virgin queen. There's no eggs in here. I was kind of getting worried as I was doing my inspection, but you know, she's gonna be very flighty that she's so light right now. So I gotta be careful. Make sure I get her back in there pretty quickly, because you know, she is so lightweight that I don't want her taken off. And sometimes people will have a queen that'll fly off on them and not go back into the box where they belong. So I'd seen a hatched out queen cell in here. She must have came out of that, and so that's good to see her in there. But yeah, this hive has been kind of on a downward spiral as far as resources are concerned. They don't have a whole lot of honey in the bottom, but it's definitely cleared out for her once she does get mated to start laying, which is great. So I'm gonna get her back in there, and then we're gonna move on to my final hive, which is blue, and then I'll get final comments. Hey everyone, sorry for that. As you notice, we're in a different location again, but it's because my camera died at the main yard. So here we are, just chilling in the back of my porch. Just finished putting some potted plants in the ground, or in the pots I should say, and I just figured I'd wrap up what I saw. Essentially, like I said, I mentioned that orange hive, you know, looks like they're gonna supersede the old queen, so that's gonna happen. The far left red hive that I mentioned, you know, it looks like they either had a queen recently depart, she either swarmed again, that was the old red queen. So, you know, we'll see if they replace her, which they probably will. There were plenty of capped eggs in there. New green, or when I say new green, the main green hive in the field, there were plenty of eggs present, but it appears to have maybe swarmed again. It's kind of hard to say. They had plenty of honey in there, but again, I just can't put my finger on it. I mentioned how crazy the swarm season has been, but it just seems like every time I make a split or do something, you know, something happens. So let me show you some of these plants up close just so you have something else to look at. So we got some tomatoes, looks like some more tomatoes, bell peppers, jalapeno peppers, so the works, right? But yeah, so mentioned the green hive, far red, you know, the red hive, the main red one. Plenty of eggs, didn't see the queen, but kind of gave them extra super just to boost up. And then the yellow, I mentioned I saw the virgin queen earlier in the video, so that's great. So they should be laying soon, because they've got absolutely no eggs present whatsoever. So they're gonna have to play some catch up here pretty soon. And then finally the blue hive, didn't see a queen, didn't see any eggs. Hard to say if there's a recently hatched queen in there or not. I just didn't see her. I left that swarm cell that I had taken from the other yard in there just in case, so we'll check on that next week. But overall, very surprised with that yard. Like I said, it's been a nightmare trying to manage it this year compared to last, and given it's just more hives in one spot than I usually have managed there. But it is one of those situations where, you know, you would expect that I'd be able to see a lot of the signs, and I did, and I felt like I made a lot of the changes that were needing to be made to prevent swarming, but it seemed like they wanted to anyways. So it's just gonna be back and forth. I mean, the good news is I've got actually plenty of honey, pretty good crop just from that few hives right there. I think I'll probably get 13 super boxes of honey, so that's great. But other than that, I think next week all I'm going to be checking, if I go back to the main hive, or main yard, I should say, I'm just going to be checking the yellow and the blue hive. Those are the two that really need my attention. The other ones, kind of just let them do their thing. Keep working on either making new queens or keep collecting honey, whatever it might be, and we'll go from there. But again, sorry these batteries keep dying. I'll try to bring my battery pack with me in the future so it's a little bit more coherent. But I just kind of want to share what's going on at the locations. So hope that all that makes sense. Y'all have a great week. Hopefully you guys are doing a better job of managing your hives as far as swarm behavior is concerned, and maybe you're even catching some on top of it. Maybe you're catching some of mine if you're living in Georgia, if some of mine have swarmed, because I've definitely caught what I think is one of mine. But either way, y'all take care, stay safe, have a great week.